Life. The word echoed in the courtroom like a hammer striking stone. A teenage boy stood frozen, his entire future ripped away in an instant. But as the silence settled, he calmly reached for the phone and said only 5 words that would change everything. "Dad, it happened." They said life. The judge's voice cut through the air like a blade. Life. The word lingered, heavy, final, echoing against the cold walls of the courtroom. Gasps rippled through the spectators. Some turned away, unable to meet the boy's eyes. Others stared, their silence complicit in the injustice. 16-year-old Jordan stood motionless, his hands trembling slightly but his face calm. Shackles weighed on his wrists, but his dignity stood taller than any chain. The sentence wasn't just harsh, it was devastatingly unjust. His crime had been small, yet the punishment was designed to break him. The bailiff moved forward, but Jordan did not resist. Instead, he asked for one moment. His request was granted. Slowly, deliberately, he lifted the phone provided for inmates and dialed a single number. His voice was steady, almost hauntingly so. "Dad, it happened." They said life. What no one in that courtroom knew was that Jordan's father was not an ordinary man. He was the United States Attorney General, a man sworn to defend justice, a man who had spent decades dismantling corruption. And in that moment, the scales of justice tilted without a sound. Jordan's story did not begin in chains. It began in sacrifice. His father had served in the military before turning to law, carrying the discipline and scars of war into the halls of power. His mother, a nurse, worked endless shifts, carrying the scent of antiseptic and the ache of compassion into their home each night. From them, Jordan inherited resilience, empathy, and a quiet fire. He grew up hearing stories of his father's service: dusty deserts, starless nights, fallen comrades whose names were whispered but never forgotten. Jordan learned early that silence often spoke louder than rage, that dignity was a shield against a cruel world. But dignity had its cost. As a young black teen, he had been watched, judged, and dismissed by those who could not see past his skin. Teachers doubted him. Store clerks followed him. Officers stopped him without cause. Each moment piled onto his shoulders like bricks. Still, he carried them in silence, determined never to let bitterness define him. And now, in a courtroom where truth was twisted, his silence was mistaken for weakness. The prosecutor painted him as dangerous, the judge as irredeemable. The crowd believed what they were told. Authority against a boy with no voice. Rules against humanity. Public disrespect against quiet honor. The tension grew as Jordan lowered the phone. He did not shout. He did not beg. He simply stood, eyes steady as if waiting for something unseen. And indeed, something unseen was already in motion. Across the city, the Attorney General's office stirred. The call was short, but its weight was immense. Within minutes, phone lines lit up. Clerks rushed through corridors and files long buried were pulled into the light. The system that thought it could silence one boy suddenly faced the unshakable honor of a father who had built his life on exposing injustice. Back in the courtroom, whispers grew. Reporters' phones buzzed with alerts. The judge's certainty faltered as messages reached his bench. Something was shifting. Then the doors opened, not with chaos but with quiet authority. Representatives from the highest office in the land entered. The gallery stood in stunned silence. The boy who moments earlier was treated as disposable was now revealed as the son of the nation, as top defender of justice. The judge's gavel shook slightly in his hand. The prosecutor avoided eye contact. The same crowd that had judged Jordan now stared in shame. Jordan said nothing. He didn't need to. His silence was his strength, his presence his protest. In the days that followed, the case unraveled. Corruption surfaced. Bias was exposed. The sentence was overturned, not because of power, but because truth itself could no longer be ignored. As Jordan walked free, he spoke words that would echo far beyond the courthouse. Dignity doesn't beg, it stands, even when the world tries to break it. His father added quietly, "Justice isn't given by power. It is proven by truth." The crowd, once silent in complicity, now stood in respect, for they had witnessed not just a trial, but a reminder. The strength of one voice, the weight of silent honor, and the power of truth to shatter injustice. Iconic quotes from the story. Dignity doesn't beg, it stands, even when the world tries to break it. Justice isn't given by power, it is proven by truth. Silence is not weakness, it is the sharpest protest. This story reminds us that respect cannot be conditional, and that silent dignity can expose injustice louder than any argument. One voice, one stand, can change the course of history. Where are you watching from? Do you believe true strength is shown in silence or in words? Share your thoughts below, and subscribe for more cinematic stories that honor unseen battles and silent heroes.